What is up, guys? I am here to talk to you today about Metaplanet stock, MTPLF. I've talked about it many times on this channel. I am very bullish on the stock, so let's just put it that way. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you're interested in Metaplanet. Let me know what your Metaplanet price targets are, how many shares you got. All right, so Metaplanet is $3.21 right now, which is pretty wild, right? We saw $15 price just a couple months ago. We've seen this so much higher in the past, right? And that's part of my bullish thesis. It's like, you know, like the MNAV is going to go back up. The MNAV right now is only at 1, and for a while there was less than 1, but now, you know, Metaplanet's actually, you know, they're buying their shares back, which is like this huge deal that I think people don't understand how much credibility this is giving Metaplanet and how much viability and how it's making it actually like almost like a I don't know, like for retail investors like you and I, almost like a refugee camp, right? Because it's so cheap, and it's like it makes it to where it's like actually like, you know, a possibility for us to purchase the shares, you know, at such a deep discount, and just in a way that, like, you know, it's I would never advocate putting your entire portfolio in a small cap stock like Metaplanet, and I don't even know if I'd call, I'd call a few billion a small cap. They're not the smallest of small caps. They're not like under $1 billion or something like that. But, you know, they're only worth a few billion. So, but they have a few billion in Bitcoin, right? And then they're going to continue to accrete Bitcoin for shareholders. So it's just one of those things where it's like anything could happen with this company, but I don't think bankruptcy is one of those things. Like, their debt to asset ratio is 1%. So Bitcoin would have to go down 99% for their debt to equal their assets, right? So if Bitcoin completely and utterly fails, something completely goes wrong with Bitcoin, someone cracks the code, you know, the proof of work system doesn't exist anymore, something like that, you know, at that point, yeah, maybe sell the Metaplanet shares. But like at this point right now, with no premium associated to the company, they're priced for bankruptcy. Let's be clear about that. They are priced for bankruptcy. With them priced this way, it's hard to see much negative. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, if Bitcoin goes down, they're going to go down too, right? Because they correlate with Bitcoin. But as far as like any sort of crypto investors, if you're interested in crypto, specifically Bitcoin, like, let me know in the comment section below why you wouldn't buy Metaplanet instead of Bitcoin, right? When they have an issue, their preferred shares, right? If Bitcoin price stays low like this, they're just going to continue to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. And I think we're going to watch this video that I'm making today in a few years and be like, holy cow, we are never going to see those prices for Metaplanet ever again, you know? And it's like, at the same time, there is some risk, right? It's all Bitcoin associated, so don't put your whole account into it. Don't listen to me anyway. I'm just some guy on YouTube, right? I'm not a financial advisor, but like, this is just the way I think about it, you know? They're going to start buying a whole bunch more Bitcoin with other people's money, and I do believe they are the MicroStrategy of Asia. You know, they're in that niche. They're the number 4 Bitcoin treasury company in the world, based out of Tokyo, right? And we know how futuristic Japan is, and how Japan has a lot of heartburn from the Mt. Gox situation. Sorry about that, but like pretty soon, you know, pretty soon Bitcoin is just even going to take over Japan, you know, and it's not like it's that hard to think that Bitcoin would do well in Japan with how innovative Japan is, you know. But Mt. Gox is really helping out Metaplanet here, right? Because like Japan has really strict rules on Bitcoin purchases and sells, and like high taxes, right? But the thing is, like, even when that stops happening, even when Bitcoin gets you know, regular capital gains tax in Japan, like, you're still going to value Metaplanet at 1 times, if not more. I think the MNAV on Metaplanet right now is way too low. Way too low, you know? Like, if you were to compare like Metaplanet, let's say, to like a Tesla stock, right? Tesla stock right now, I think the forward PE is like 350, right? So tons of growth is priced in. A lot of people think they're going to solve for self-driving. A lot of people think they're going to solve for like the Optimus bot to, like, you know, disrupt the labor market substantially, right? So they got all this priced in, and I still think Tesla's undervalued at 1.5 trillion, right? I think Tesla will get to 8.5 trillion, maybe even, to the one day like the 30 trillions, like the tens of trillions, like 20, 30, 40 trillion, with the Optimus bot. So Tesla's on the side where it's like super, got a lot of like growth priced in right now, but I still find it undervalued, right? Even though the PE is huge compared to like MetaPlanet, where it's like they're kind of in a somewhat similar situation to Tesla, except for they're not. A lot of growth is not priced into the stock right now. There's no growth priced into the stock whatsoever at an MNAV of 1 or less than 1 or sub 1. And I don't think we're going to see a sub 1 MNAV for very long because they've announced that they're buying their own shares back, like I said earlier. But like, I do think that MetaPlanet has like an extreme amount of growth ahead of it, similarly to MicroStrategy, right? So I don't think that they're not, MetaPlanet's not solving for AI and self-driving robots and stuff like that. But they are becoming a huge treasury company that holds the hardest asset in the world, Bitcoin, right? So they're undervalued right now, or like they're at the very least they're properly valued, right? That you're just buying Bitcoin. You're paying the same price for Bitcoin as you're paying for the company, compared to like, look what MicroStrategy did since 2020. If you look at that price, if you look at that stock chart, it's a good looking stock chart. Let's put it that way. It looks really, really good. It's very hard to beat. If you can stack it up against almost every other stock, and it's beaten like 99% of them. And actually, if you look at MetaPlanet, it's the same way over the past couple of years since they pivoted to a Bitcoin treasury company. That stock price target looks really good, guys. Like really, really freaking good. And even with the most recent drawdown, in price, it's like, wow, it's one of the best performing stocks over the past couple of years. And this is without them issuing any perpetual preferred shares, guys. This is all just cash on their balance sheet and diluting shareholders, right? So if you're tired of being diluted, which I a little bit am, to be honest with you, I'm negative on my cost basis on MetaPlanet right now, like most shareholders are that bought within the past 6 months. But I do see that as like very temporary. I see MetaPlanet exploding in the near term. I really do. Like, they've got this extraordinary shareholders meeting next month, and after that, I think we'll see some perpetual preferred shares, right? And I think we'll see some money coming to them within those perpetual preferred shares from Japan, and that they'll use to go buy more Bitcoin to try to achieve their goal of 210,000 Bitcoin by 2027, right? Well, guys, it's November 2025, and they have 30,000 Bitcoin. So they're trying to 7x their holdings, 7x the amount of Bitcoin that they have. To put it in perspective, MicroStrategy has 640,000 Bitcoin right now, right? So they're trying to get to about a third of what MicroStrategy has in 2 years. Right? So 7xing that amount of Bitcoin is pretty freaking wild. And what's really good for them is their interest rates they offer to these people from Japan. Sorry about that. Yeah, the interest rates that they're going to offer on these perpetual preferreds can be really low, guys. I mean, like 4%, 5%, like basically like savings account yield here in America, right? Because the interest rates are perpetually low in Japan to incentivize innovation, incentivize business, incentivize technology. They want easy access to capital over there to compete with the Western world and to compete with China. So yeah, it's a crazy world we live in, where you can just have a company that just buys Bitcoin on behalf of shareholders, and it becomes one of the biggest companies in the world. But that's where we're at, even with Bitcoin's price today. MetaPlanet's, their Bitcoin is worth 3 billion, let's just say. And so if Bitcoin goes to a mil by 2030, that's 30 billion they have in Bitcoin on the balance sheet just right now, and they're worth nothing near that in the stock market. So you're looking at a 10x just from stock price appreciation, let alone these perpetual preferred shares. They're going to change the game, guys. I mean, you see what Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have done with like all these different types of perpetual preferred shares, and trying to like pinpoint each way to disrupt the bond market and disrupt savings accounts and disrupt at the end of the day, disrupt legacy fiat, right? Legacy fiat currency. Because this fiat currency can always be printed. You know, black swan event, let's just print some more money. You know, something's going on somewhere, let's just print some money. You know, something bad happened, let's print some money. Well, guess what? You can't print Bitcoin. You just can't do it. And because of that, you know, you can actually just hold on to companies. You can actually create your own company if you really wanted to. You can go create your own Bitcoin treasury company, right? Anyone can do this. And then you gain some notoriety. And then you get shareholders to give you their money. And you go and buy Bitcoin with it. And then you find other ways to get their money to go buy more Bitcoin with it, right? And that's what the perpetual preferred shares. You give them a rate of an ROI. You give them an interest rate, essentially, an APY. And it's just it's amazing what Bitcoin has done to the world. You know, a lot of people still don't believe in it, and that gives you and I, retail shareholders, a lot of opportunity in this market. You know, to be able to be able to just make a lot of money, you guys. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. Like I said, I think Metaplanet shares, MTPLF, OTC ticker. I think we look back on this video in a couple of years and we're going to see that I was right, that I'm not the only one talking about this. It's not that I want to be right, it's just that I think I will be, right? I think we're going to see Bitcoin explode. I think we're going to see Metaplanet and MicroStrategy do really well. And yeah, guys, if you're a Metaplanet shareholder, definitely subscribe. If you're not, subscribe also. That way you can learn some more about the stock. And possibly learn, you know, make some more money together. And let me know, guys, in the comment section below any other stocks you guys like me to talk about. You know, anything crypto related or not. You know, I'll look into most of what you guys, you know, bring up and see if there's possibly some stocks or some cryptos that I also like, and then I can talk about on this channel and see what get people's thoughts. You know, and yeah, nothing but good vibes over here on this channel. Yeah, definitely subscribe. Comment down below, and appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day.